By providing progressive talk radio for our audience. We strive to be an intersectional voice for the voiceless. As a Black-owned and operated station, we are committed to highlighting diverse perspectives and creating safe spaces for meaningful dialogue. We believe that everyone has something unique to bring to these political, economic, social, and cultural conversations, and we don't shy away from the hard conversations about current events. We endeavor to be a beacon of hope and understanding, while boldly challenging listeners to think more deeply about difficult topics that impact us all. With this in mind, our mission statement at KBLA Talk 1580 is simple: to create an inclusive platform that promotes civil discourse through honest dialogue and encourages personal growth among our listeners, so they can become the active agents of change. Our vision is to establish ourselves as the premier radio network with relevant programming across the beloved community, connecting people through shared experiences and collective power for lasting impact beyond these challenging times.
Clap your hands. Yeah, I know what this is. So that.
Now little mama just break it down for the boy Bad Wow and that boy Chris Brown. All I wanna do is see you take it to the ground. Bring it up slow, twerk that thing like them girls in the videos. And I'm leaving here with something. I come with that good game, baby girl. I ain't frontin', I got that Bentley GT parked outside. So scream at it when you're ready to ride.
Bow Wow challenge.
Let me talk to you, tell you how it is. I was thinking when I saw that body, gotta get shorty. Tell her what the young boy gon' do.
This is the video that Erica Mena was in, right? Obviously not this version, but I believe so. I got a question for you about Erica Mena too, later. You were locked into hour 2 of RSVP with Jill Munroe here on KBLA Talk 1580. Chris Brown. Do you have opinions on Chris Brown? I think we have a phone call. We're going to get to that in 1 second. Before we do, Trent, before we came forward, you were going to comment.
I forgot what I was going to say.
Okay, well, then we will spin the block and move around. So
Spinning the block. Here we go with that again.
Fahima from DC, thank you for staying up late. What's going on?
Thank you for taking my call, Jill, and greetings to Trent, your co-pilot there. I enjoy hearing him on Wednesdays or Thursdays. Well, it's Thursday here. Anyway, I wanted to share a perspective on Chris Brown. Okay. First off, I'm going to say Chris Brown and Rihanna had no business being together because they both are children who observed domestic violence. I'm not going to go into details, but they should never have been together. A couple of other points really quickly. Someone really should have grabbed Chris up and mentored him because he comes from a troubled past, right? And the people, I don't think, you made the comment, Jill, that a lot of feminists keep bringing up the issue with Chris Brown and Rihanna. Actually, I don't think that that's correct. Chris Brown continues to get into trouble. It's not the situation. It's not the situation with Rihanna that people keep bringing up. But again, I think that someone should really have got and mentored this guy because of the fact that he comes from a troubled past. And I do feel that people do deserve grace. But I remember when the situation happened, I was surprised. A lot of older women, maybe they had sons, but they were taking Chris's side, and I was just like really shocked, But I would just say, yes, everyone deserves grace, but, he should have went into therapy
He
and
did,
gotten
though.
himself together. Well, but he had some. He should have stayed in therapy.
Yeah.
But he's had numerous instances after that. I don't think it was fair how they did him, not allowing him to do his Michael Jackson tribute at the awards. And I do feel that he does get a bum rap. But he really, some older person needs to grab him up and mentor him and put him on the straight and narrow.
So here's the thing, what I can tell you, a couple of things. One, to your point, I did mention that, there's been stuff. Carucci had a restraining order against him for many years. We saw he was caught up, but she also let that restraining order go when it could have been re-upped if she still felt that. They've been in the same place at places. I don't know if I would call them friends, but there seems to be a healthy coexistence, you know what I mean, around Hollywood. There have been issues with other women. There have been, there was just the situation with Tiana Taylor back in June. So, where they had the altercation at the skating rink at Usher's event in Vegas, and supposedly Tiana wouldn't talk to Chris, and he was upset with her. He wanted to have a conversation because he felt like she didn't support him when the Grammys canceled. Yeah.
It's not a just situation. He has altercations with women. He was banned from a hotel because he destroyed a hotel when he assaulted his mother. He was a guest on ABC, and because of something,
I remember that,
so it's not just issues with women.
But here's the thing, but that was in
anger
2009.
management.
Yeah, but see, I think that we conflate the time periods and when certain things happen. That did happen in 2009 when he was on ABC. That was shortly after the incident with Rihanna. He was much younger. The situation with his mother was very interesting. I think that is perhaps a conversation overall, maybe for another time that, we can dive more into. But I think, I'm not saying that he's completely innocent or that he hasn't done anything. But what I am saying is that he is still not allowed the space, so to speak, to grow. I think that he has been much calmer over the last couple of years than he was in the years before that. I'm not saying, again, he's not perfect. He definitely has had some moments where maybe if he stopped the therapy, he should have gotten back into some more. But I also think that, Rihanna's grown up in that time period. We've seen changes in her, changes in things. And I think that in some of these cases, and I know domestic violence, when we're talking about that, and violence against women is a horrible thing. Nobody wants to experience it. Nobody wants to support someone that's been involved in it. But how do we allow people to step up and grow from these situations? They're not going to just fall off the face of the earth and not be involved in society. And there's obviously, because he's talented, whether we agree or not, people that have been to jail still come out and work jobs. They are reintroduced into society. And so I know that famous people are given a pass sometimes, but realistically, do they have to lay out a certain procedure or blueprint to showcase their growth for everyone else to be satisfied? Or is it enough that...
Well, I believe he does deserve the grace, but he really needs to do the work.
Okay. Well, thank you as always for calling and for staying up late. We always love to hear your perspective. You always bring in some interesting points. I mean, I'm saying it's 1:09 in DC. That's late to me on a school night at that. So I appreciate you staying up and rocking with us.
Good night. Thank you.
Good night. So when we come forward, we will listen to Chris's sort of response and reaction to what the world at large thinks of him. He had an interview on Club Shay Shay, which is Shannon Sharp's podcast, and they talked about that and a bunch of other things, but we're going to hear that clip. You are locked in to RSVP with Jill Munroe here on KBLA Talk 1580.
RSVP with Jill Munroe is your go-to show for staying in the know. More engaging conversation when we come forward on KBLA Talk 1580.
Meet Bruce.
Hey there.
He's a busy soccer dad who's trying hard to learn the game.
Go for the end zone.
Whoops. Luckily, other things come easy, like banking with Chase. On a tip from his banker, he set up AutoSave in the Chase mobile app. So what are you saving for, Bruce?
Father-daughter soccer camp.
Smart bankers, convenient tools, one bank with the power of both. Visit chase.com/checking. Chase, make more of what's yours.
AutoSave requires a Chase checking and savings account. Chase mobile app is available for select mobile devices. Message and data rates may apply. JP Morgan Chase Bank and a member FDIC.
Now. We tend not to think about now. We dream about tomorrow, relive yesterday. But right now in front of us is victory over cancer. Right now, cancer research funded by the V Foundation is leading to better treatments and saving lives. Victory over cancer is there for the taking by you, because today's cancer research is tomorrow's victory. Learn more at v.org.
Don't give up. Don't ever give up.
Is your eyesight changing?
I can't read this anymore.
Don't lose hope. People just like you are working every day using Braille, screen magnification, speech technology, and other tools and blindness skills. Your eyesight may have changed, but your goals, they don't have to. We can help. Visit us on the web at blind.org. The National Federation of the Blind. Live the life you want.
KBLA Talk 1580. We've got a lot to talk about.
KBLA Talk 1580 reminding you that we keep us safe. The Center for the Pacific Asian Family was founded to help address domestic violence and sexual assault in the Asian and the Pacific Islander communities. The Center for the Pacific Asian Family's mission is to build healthy and safe communities by addressing the root causes and consequences of family violence and violence against women. They are committed to meeting the specific cultural and language needs of the Asian and Pacific Islander women and their families. CPAF's vision is of an Asian and Pacific Islander community that embraces healthy relationships and works in partnership with other communities to eradicate all forms of violence. To access services, volunteer, or for more info, visit nurturingchange.org. At KBLA Talk 1580, we believe everyone deserves to be safe. This is a community call to action from KBLA Talk 1580.
Hey, keeping you informed, entertained, and always ahead of the curve. This is RSVP with Jill Munroe on KBLA Talk 1580.
You are locked into RSVP with Jill Munroe here on KBLA Talk 1580. So we've been talking about Chris Brown, started with the reaction of Selena Gomez to him last night at his nomination to the VMAs. We know that Chris is a hot button topic still for some. And so he recently did an interview with Shannon Sharp on his podcast Club Shay Shay. And he had some responses, some commentary to, the general public's thoughts and feelings about him. And I thought it was pretty interesting, so let's check him out.
I think it's because I think people think I have a careless outlook on it.
Right.
And it's not that I have a careless outlook. I don't care to make you believe that I'm a great person.
Right.
Or a good person.
Right.
I'm just gonna be one.
Right.
So I feel like with that, I'm and I don't take no nonsense, man.
Right.
I'm a humble guy. I'll be cool, but I really don't take no nonsense. I try to stay in my lane, get out the way, don't bother nobody, but I'm not gonna take no nonsense.
So, just to add on to that, I know someone that hung out with Chris and a couple of people after the fight that just took place, Crawford versus Spence in Vegas last month. They went out, were hanging out, and they said that Chris seemed like, and this just came up randomly around the time, Chris seemed like a different person, much more at peace, calmer. He had his girl with him. He wasn't wilding out, People were still trying to wild out amongst him, but he was really just chilling. And I think that, I know it's hard because I think that much like we've discussed with the Ray Rice video, had the photographs of Rihanna's face never been released, and I'm not saying that they shouldn't have, I just know that it probably would be a different conversation. I think it's one thing to imagine some of these things and then the reality of seeing them, and some people can't let it go or can't move on beyond it even though they weren't personally victimized. Trent?
I think that he is. Here's my thing that people have not really. It's been talked about on blogs and gossip stuff like that. But I think, in addition to the anger management, I think his main issue was a substance abuse problem, allegedly. So I think he probably got some assistance with that, and I think that's probably is attributed to his calmness and less chaos in his life.
That is certainly a possibility, Listen, whether it is just the general process of maturity, whether it is assistance in some other areas, I think that at some point, though, we do have to allow people the space to become something greater. You
But
know?
here's the thing too, and I think it's what is most important in what he said. And essentially, you have to tune out the noise and know who you are as a person and focus on that, and not really. It's not really your responsibility about what anybody else thinks about you.
What is that old saying? What you think of me is none of my concern.
Yeah.
It's not my
So
business.
I really think honestly that he's just in a space where he is trying to mature on his own terms and what that means for him, and that doesn't involve anybody else. And that's just he's tuned out the noise, and that's a great place to be.
Well, shout out to CB. Now, I thought this was an interesting topic. It's a study. It was done about 3 years ago, right? And it says, essentially, it talks about how there's all sorts of aspects where we know that attractive people necessarily may get better advantages in life, right?
Mm-hmm.
So this particular study says that unattractive people have a harder time recognizing that their level of attractiveness. So basically, they tend to overestimate their own looks, and in contrast, people that are really beautiful, by the whatever the typical definition or standard is, they tend to rate themselves more accurately or underestimate their attractiveness. So it was published by the Scandinavian Journal of Psychology, and it involves 6 different studies. And it basically said that most people that are unattractive, I think that they're higher. My question to you is, do you think that that is a coping mechanism? Do you think that it is, you hear, if I'm always like, you got a big head, and you like, big head boys are beautiful, or something like that. We talk about girls, like they say Rihanna has a 5 head, and people are like, the most pretty girls have a 5 head. Do you think that it is that kind of thing, and maybe that it's not that they don't understand what's happening or what people think, or do you really think that they just can't see it some type of way?
Here's what I think. I think that people who are unattractive, they know that they're unattractive. They know that. They definitely know it. I've talked to unattractive people, and they've said, I know I'm ugly, or I know I'm not attractive, or I know people are very much aware. I actually made a comment to my attorney about I forgot what it was, but I was like, you have to pick a struggle, and you can't be and I said in my own opinion, in my own case, I'm like, you can't be fat and bald, so you're gonna have to pick one. Okay, get a wig, fix your hair, because you got to pick a struggle. So people know what their struggles are, and it's just, are you gonna be honest about it or not? But I also do agree that people who are attractive, they either tend to know that they're attractive and be conceited about it or overly confident about it, or they tend to rate themselves under what they really are.
Andy?
I agree with Trent 100%. I think they have to go to that extreme, you know what I mean, to believe what it is that they're pushing out there, right? Like, they know they're unattractive, but I have to go to that extreme side of the spectrum to, I'm fine, I'm attractive.
To make you like me.
To make you like me, and just for them to believe it themselves.
That's what it really is.
I think it is to save their, to save their own self-esteem or ego or whatever, because this is what they said. They said that that unattractive people may judge themselves to be about average awareness, and that they show very little average attractiveness, and that they show very little awareness that strangers don't share this view. So they feel like that they just miss it. And I don't believe that. I think that it might be false bravado, right? Or that, people, who wants to say that? And then there's the thing too, which is absolutely true. A person with a dope personality and looks can sometimes outshine someone
Absolutely,
that is
100%.
physically, a physical 100% specimen, and could be standing next to them and you don't see them because this person's personality brings out so much more character and things like that. So I don't know. I thought it was an interesting study. I also think that, people who think that one day we'll get over the superficial aspects are not being real with themselves.
They're not.
But I do think that it plays such a big part, but not as big of a part at times as people make it.
That's also correct.
So,
Can I add something to that too?
Of course.
I think it's the same way in the bedroom as well too.
What do you mean?
What?
In other words,
we was like, wait, what?
The unattractive folks
tend to try harder.
They have to do. They have to go ham. You know what I'm saying? They have to overcompensate for where they're lacking. So.
Oh, is that what happens?
I think so. Well, you know what they say? They like if you talk to certain guys, I have. Right? And no. I'm saying like in friendship and conversation where you ask questions about, the relationships with opposite sex because you're friends. So there's no, nothing to be cautious of, nothing to worry about like, oh, if I speak this, they're going to do whatever. And, they said that guys believe that the girls that they view as, the ones that aren't necessarily always pursued or the hot girl, the it girl, they aren't necessarily the best sexual prospects because they don't feel like they got to try or put any effort into it. I guess they're essentially pillow princesses, sounds like what they're 100%. Calling them. But that girls that aren't considered the beauties are gonna, want to make sure they give you that extra little to make you stay because they know they're in competition with girls that are just out there looking pretty. I don't know. Andy agrees with me. Trent, are you pondering?
Well, I don't really have a dog in that race, so I can't.
I mean, but you don't. I think the concept of that is not.
I'm just saying.
Not, just for women or whatever. I think generally if a person feels that, and we can talk about looks because that's a big part of it, but just in general, if they feel as though maybe they are in a lesser position of you or that they have to do something to impress you, they're going to work a little bit harder.
Well, I don't have a dog in this race, so it's not anything that I think about, and I tend to attract attractive people all the way around. All of my friends are attractive. I tend to attract attractive people.
Do you really believe that? Do you think that all of your friends are attractive?
Yes, I do.
Okay.
I know that.
Okay,
because
that's hot.
I need to make sure that when I take pictures at my party, the pictures are popping.
So you got to have that Instagram image. I feel you.
But I don't go out selecting people. It naturally comes because I feel that
it naturally curates itself.
I feel that I'm an attractive person. I feel that I'm an attractive person, and I attract other attractive people.
Okay, so you make the picture complete.
Yes.
It just happens.
Yes.
Like magnets.
Yes.
Like attracts likes.
And I don't even. It's even weird to say this, and this is not out of vanity or like conceit, but I tend not to engage with people sexually that I don't find attractive.
Oh yeah, I'm not doing that.
So
you're not doing no favors.
I only tend to date attractive people, and you've seen some of the people that I've
so
dated.
Let me ask you this:
you
how much into the equation are looks? Because obviously we know looks attracts you, personality keeps you. But how far are you willing to give on one side? If the other side is like, woo, like if they're, but they have this super personality, you guys click, bond, can talk all night, but you're like, I don't know if I'm physically attracted to that individual.
I have never had an experience where I've been, and I can't even answer that because all of the people that I've dated, I have been physically attracted to them and mentally, but they've been smart. So they're the person that it's just
so it just doesn't happen for you. You just bypass that.
Yeah, like
I heard that lucky one.
I don't know about that. That's not my struggle area.
About that life.
That's not my struggle area. So I again, like, yeah.
Fahima says, I think the study is moot because they only studied Scandinavians.
You know what? I like Fahima. She keeps it real. She's from DC. I like her.
So here's the thing, and you may have a point, but I also think that we have seen a lot of people that may not be conventionally attractive.
Yeah.
That will hype themselves up. We've seen it.
Yes.
We know it happens.
Yeah, all the time.
So I don't think that it is too far of a stretch, regardless
They're for somebody.
of the race. They're
Yeah.
not just being for somebody. I think sometimes, though, they definitely overcompensate because, you know, what have I got to lose? And I'm not going to let you just let me sit here bend in the background. I mean, that's why sometimes people that looks-wise are considered maybe mediocre or were treated as such have those sparkling personalities. They don't rest on pretty. I mean, growing up, I was always taught by my mom and, you know, my parents that you don't rest on pretty. It's like pretty is obtainable.
Yes.
Anybody can be pretty.
Yes.
You can buy beauty. You can, you know, weave, makeup, wig your way,
All
plastic
that.
surgery.
Yes.
You know, and
Look at me right now.
Trent, please.
Listen.
Trent, I like weaves. I like makeup.
All of it.
I like all of it. I may not always indulge because I'm a little lazy at times.
Yes.
But I'm for it. And I think that whatever you want to do to make yourself feel better, if it includes your physical, you should go ahead and rock out.
Do it. Yes.
But
get those fillers.
Like you said, Trent. But you're like, get those fillers. Get that bow tie.
Get that wig.
Get that lipo.
Listen.
Get that wig, girl.
Or man. Because I was looking at a new unit tonight. Mm-hmm. I'm going to show it to you during commercial break.
Trent is out of control, ladies and gentlemen. Listen, 800-920-1580 if you have a comment about the levels of attractiveness. Andy, what say you?
I just want to say that it goes both ways, too. You know what I'm saying? Dudes who are, you know, from a vanity perspective, who aren't, you know what I'm saying, attractive, they tend to be the simps. They be rolling out the red carpet. You know what I mean? Because they don't get the attention.
See,
you know what I'm saying? I be like, bro, she not even going to give you something. You over here rolling the red carpet, paying her bills, taking her out to Nobu and all that.
So handsome guys don't never pay bills?
They pay bills, but you know what I'm saying? They could probably get away with a couple things. They can get away with maybe her paying for the first date.
Okay. I ain't paying on no first date. So.
Or if he was attractive enough, you actually probably would pull up on him.
I don't. So here's the thing with me, right? Because my friends and I had this conversation back in the day, stuff like that. For me personally, I'm not saying there's anything wrong with stepping to the guy and doing all of that. For me personally, that's not something that I really subscribe to because I don't feel that it works. I feel that men should be the pursuer. I sound a little pick-me-ish in that. I feel like you can let a man know that you are interested, but if you pursue him, that sets up a very specific idea as far as the relationship goes, and that you will always find yourself in the pursuer's role in those particular circumstances. And I've tested out my theory, and at least it was true for me back in the day. So when we come forward, we will have more on this topic. We will get into more trending topics and headlines. We'll get into this chat because it's lit. You are locked into RSVP with Jill Munroe here on KBLA Talk 1580.
My age gonna slow us down. I can definitely show you things to have you saying I can't be 16. Once I get in, you won't let go. I had the girls wishing it was you. And I know you heard about me, but guess what's going down if we leave? I got friends and you got friends.
Trending topics and the hottest happenings. You're listening to RSVP with Jill Munroe on KBLA Talk 1580.
I'm Esther Dillard, and here's the latest from the Black Information Network. President Biden is announcing a series of new actions as part of his goal to end cancer. While meeting with members of his cabinet, Biden announced a $240 million funding boost for research projects to help improve cancer and prevention treatment. The president has set a goal to cut U.S. cancer deaths in half over the next 25 years. Meanwhile, Amazon is pledging millions of dollars for affordable homeowner projects across the U.S. $40 million in grants and loans expands the online retail giant's Housing Equity Fund. The money will go to nonprofit National Housing Trust, which will then provide loans to 3 nonprofits working on home ownership in the Seattle region, along with others in Washington, D.C. and Nashville, Tennessee. And that's the latest. I'm Esther Dillard from the Black Information Network and BINnews.com.
Make home more comfortable, make your business run better, and make California just a little greener in the process. Plan your energy efficiency upgrade. Find qualified contractors and attractive rates at GoGreenFinancing.com.
KBLA Talk 1580 is dedicated to empowering our communities by providing progressive talk radio for our audience. We strive to be an intersectional voice for the voiceless. As a Black-owned and operated station, we are committed to highlighting diverse perspectives and creating safe spaces for meaningful dialogue. We believe that everyone has something unique to bring to these political, economic, social, and cultural conversations, and we don't shy away from the hard conversations about current events. We endeavor to be a beacon of hope and understanding, while boldly challenging listeners to think more deeply about difficult topics that impact us all. With this in mind, our mission statement at KBLA Talk 1580 is simple: to create an inclusive platform that promotes civil discourse through honest dialogue and encourages personal growth among our listeners, so they can become the active agents of change. Our vision is to establish ourselves as the premier radio network with relevant programming across the beloved community, connecting people through shared experiences and collective power for lasting impact beyond these challenging times.
You're listening to K-Drip, where we play all the best classic water-wasting hits like watering your lawn during the hottest time of the day and leaky faucets. They're tunes from another time because now that we face a hotter, drier future, every drop counts. Despite an extremely wet winter, keep using less water, fixing leaks, and reusing indoor water for your garden. Visit SaveOurWater.com for more ways to conserve. Up next, brushing your teeth with the water on. K-Drip.
I'm David Goldberg, a bilingual elementary school teacher and president of the California Teachers Association. As we start a new school year, there's something new happening in California's public schools. They're called community schools, where families, students, educators, and communities are making decisions as one.
As a parent, I feel like we're really valued as partners in the education system.
Community schools are bridging the systems of academics with the community.
The curriculum is designed around the students and their academic needs.
I know community schools are working. We see it in parent involvement. We see it in student academics.
We saw double-digit gains in math, English, and reading scores.
It's a more innovative, holistic approach to educating students.
I really feel like this is the first time that we're really seeing a system change in our school.
It's innovative, fresh,
and they're already working.
We invite you to learn more about community schools as we come together to reimagine public education here in California. And that's why CTA brought you this message.
1 in 4 Americans today are living with a disability. I'm one of them. People with disabilities are extremely talented, resilient problem solvers that have so much to offer. And we've got a trusted ally on our side, an organization we can rely on, Easter Seals. Easter Seals is leading the way to full equity, inclusion, and access to healthcare, employment, and education for people with disabilities, families, and communities. That's my Easter Seals. Make it yours.
Learn more and get involved at easterseals.com.
KBLA Talk 1580.
We've got a lot to talk about.
KBLA Talk 1580 joins you in standing for voting rights. When We All Vote is a leading national nonpartisan initiative on a mission to change the culture around voting and to increase participation in each and every election by helping to close the race and age gap. Created by Michelle Obama, When We All Vote brings together individuals, institutions, brands, and organizations to register new voters across the country and advance civic education for the entire family and voters of every age to build an informed and engaged electorate for today and generations to come. When We All Vote empowers their supporters and volunteers to take action through voting, advocating for their rights, and holding their elected officials accountable. Please visit whenweallvote.org to stand up for your rights, voting rights. This is a community call to action from KBLA Talk 1580.
When my family does Walt Disney World Resort, we do it big.
Bippity boppity big, like Cinderella Castle.
Uh-huh, big, like those juicy turkey legs from Gaston's Tavern.
It doesn't get any bigger than the Tam Tam Drummers. Get it, Grandma?
Yeah, and big like Goofy's kicks. Oh, yeah.
Yep.
It's your world, so do it big at Walt Disney World Resort.
This is KBLA Talk 1580. Talk radio that's music to your ears. We're unapologetically progressive. KBLA Talk 1580. Curating the most compelling stories and delivering them straight to your ears. You're listening to RSVP with Jill Munroe on KBLA Talk 1580.
You are funny. They were doing this in the video.
I wish I could tie you up in my shoes, make you feel unpretty too. I was told I was beautiful, but what does that mean to you? Look into the mirror, who's inside?
Look at Andy being sympathetic. The playlist, making sure it's tapped in, always on theme, always on point. You are locked in to RSVP with Jill Munroe here on KBLA Talk 1580, and we are discussing the unpretty people of the world. Can I share a secret with you guys? Can I? Yeah.
It's always safe here. Come on, peel back those
Is
layers,
this a safe
Jill.
place?
It is.
Yeah, this isn't a layer secret.
Oh, okay.
This is just an observation.
You play this.
Not. It's a revelation of some. Some people might, think that they have some insight into me when I say this. I did not like that song. I got the message, but do not put on no unpretty for me. The video was nice, but I don't want to hear that. I don't want to see it again. I didn't like Waterfalls either. I appreciated it, but I didn't want to hear it.
Jill, you like ratchetness. You like up-tempo. You just want to party.
That's not true.
You don't want to hear nothing where you have to think.
That's not true. That is not true.
Speak on it.
There are some slow songs. There are some movements, like things that I appreciate. But when I think what I don't like is feeling as though at times I'm being preached to. Like, so here's the thing. Unpretty feels a bit, one, it felt like you guys are reaching and trying to recreate what happened with Waterfalls that was more organic. So I didn't respect it as a single because I felt like it was a try hard. So there's that, right? Just my opinion, not a big deal. But two, I don't like when I feel like they're trying to beat you in the head with a book. Like, it just doesn't flow in a more authentic way. Because here's the thing, like, for example, we're going to go old school, and it's not, but I'm just saying, I like self-destruction and things like that. I'm just saying, it's not that I don't like a message in my music. I appreciate some things, just not everything when it feels like it's made for commercial. It's like, okay, now this is our song to show that we have depth and we are about something in this.
Self-destruction?
Nas, I Know I Can. That was a bop. I know I can.
Be what I want to be.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I liked it.
Sure.
I did.
Wasn't Unpretty kind of on brand for TLC, though? TLC always kind of, pushed the lines on social issues.
Not only was
like
it on brand, they wrote that song because so many people were writing into them, their fans, and that was their response to some of the fan mail they were getting. So it was like it was very genuine.
On the fan mail album.
Yes, and it was very organic and very genuine, and it was their response to their fans who were writing them, telling them, "I feel fat, I feel ugly, I feel this, I feel that." How can you not like that, Jill? Oh my God.
Because it's still music at the end of the day, and it's not that the words
know
are
what?
not impactful.
Everyone
The
could not grow up
song
and be
is
a
not-
pretty and attractive, pretty girl rock.
I mean, yeah, but
All of my friends are attractive, so see, you have to be empathetic to those who are.
I'm empathetic.
You have to be empathetic to
empathetic.
those who are 6s and below.
PGP.
Yeah.
Pretty girl privilege.
Yeah. Yep.
Yeah, maybe.
Pretty girl privilege.
Here's the thing.
Yeah.
Maybe. But what I also will subscribe to, right, is that pretty girl privilege
Came with problems.
It does come with problems. But it's subjective too, right? Because you might have pretty girl privilege over here, but you go to over here and they're like, they want to push you back. Like
those girls over at the Dons. The Dorsey Dons. Yeah, those girls.
Anyway.
More like Westchester.
Why are you over here? Those girls. You
Yeah,
belong
I
in
mean,
Westchester.
Yeah, but the Westchester girls didn't love me either. So there you
See,
go.
it came with problems.
It does.
Let's talk about it because we should talk about that because most people have this perception that just because you're pretty, you have it easier and it doesn't come with haters. That's a problem too.
It is. And I think that but I think that there is, and this will be a deeper conversation, a conversation for Wednesday. I also think that it can be complicated because I think about the era that
Don't get distracted by Urban Spinster. She ain't saving you tonight. We gonna get back to her later. She got called out because she got pretty girl privilege too.
Shout out to Urban Spinster. Yeah. What I mean is that you liked me at Westchester Urban Spinster. You didn't know me, but I'm saying you would have liked me back then. But some of the things happen. Women are mean to each other sometimes, especially if there's a man somewhere in the mix.
Yes.
Occasionally we can be, but I think that sometimes there definitely is pretty girl privilege or, all of these other kind of privileges as it comes to aesthetic. But I think sometimes people overstate what that really means, because for some women, they might have pretty girl privilege, but all it means is that they're harassed more by bum guys because, they have a look. Right? It may not necessarily be moving them ahead.
Or
they
don't have to pay for dates because they're attractive.
Right. Or drinks.
Yes. Uh-huh.
Or drinks. I absolutely. But here's the thing with that, right? I'll accept maybe a drink, but you got to be careful because one, you think about this. And not that I need to be sympathetic to a stranger that I don't know, but I think if you're out at a bar one night, right? Let's say you're there like 6 to 9, so about 3 hours with your homies, right? Let's say you only have 1 to 2 drinks an hour, right? And you're out I'm being conservative, Andy, and you're fellowshipping with your guys, and there's some nice young ladies there, and you want to buy the young ladies a drink or two, right? But that group, it didn't work out. Oh, thank you for the drink, I got a boyfriend, right? So then there's another group over here. At what point do your pockets stop the flow of the party? I think about that kind of stuff. So I am very much, sometimes I will say, no, thank you, but appreciate the offer. Just because I don't want the whole boxed in thing. Some men think if they buy you a drink, they've bought your time for the evening. And it's like, dog, I could pay for that $15, $20 drink myself. Let's be clear. So, I don't know. Fahima says, beauty is in the eye of the beholder. What one may consider attractive, someone else may not. It's all subjective. It absolutely is. And, we talked about that. That's why I said you can't really get too caught up in that kind of stuff or what people think because, again, pretty over here, not so much on this side. You just never know. And, wait, Urban Spinster, we want to go back to something that you said earlier about SAGs. You said in general, SAGs are mentally and emotionally all over the place, male and female. That irks me.
I agree with that.
Andy?
So I got to talk about this dynamic, right?
Okay.
Why is it always the ugly dude with the fine chick, though?
Because he got money. Because men and women in those situations, and historically, may have changed now, value different things. Most men, unless they're homosexual, and that's a new thing, a newer thing, are not looking for women to fund their lifestyles, realistically. They're not looking. There are some, I'm not saying that, but they're not looking for women to live off of, especially if they've acquired some funds. But they know that those funds can introduce them to a different quality of women.
Okay, so what is it about attractive women not wanting to date what they like to describe a man who's prettier than me?
I mean, because here's the thing, some men, right, if they are attractive in that way and get a lot of attention, they may not want so you have two schools of thought, right? There's some that they want you to be picture perfect. Yes, Shannon Thompson, Sagittarius. I'm not saying anything about Sagittarius women. Urban Spinster did. I'm just talking about the male side. She's talking about both.
I'm going to double down on it and when we come back to it.
Ooh, okay. But I think that for some men, especially if they're pretty boys, they want to be the center of attention. That's how they're used to rolling. So they don't necessarily want an equally pretty woman on their side because they want to be the center.
Okay, so could it also be that the attractive woman dates the ugly man outside of the money aspect because in some ways they know that, you know, other girls might not necessarily be into them or whatever, or, you know, they can kind of control that situation a little bit more.
Maybe for some, or they want to be the star because they might feel like that the man that is not. Also, here's the thing too, right?
Can I just interject really quick?
Go ahead.
Everybody knows. Well, most women. They know that ugly men tend to be largely endowed.
What? I've never heard that before in my life.
Oh, you haven't?
No.
Oh, okay.
Mandingo warrior, not like yes.
Kneecaps.
Because they're facially challenged?
Listen.
What's the correlation?
I don't know.
Maybe another day. Maybe we'll wait for the 11 o'clock hour to finish that topic.
Yes, let's do that.
Well, really quickly, we're going to take a break. When we come forward, we will get into more of these trending topics and headlines, more, of the interesting conversations
about
around
to go left and slide down all the slopes.
and unattractive people and all of that. And then, of course, next hour coming up, we're going to get into this Sierra story. All of that and more. You are locked into RSVP with Jill Munroe here on KBLA Talk 1580.
Infusing a sense of fun and entertainment in every episode. You're listening to RSVP with Jill Munroe on KBLA Talk 1580.
More when we come forward.
The Black Hollywood Education and Resource Center proudly presents its 25th annual Real Black Men Short Film Showcase, September 22nd through September 24th. Join us for the opening night celebration on Friday, September 22nd, and enjoy the short film showcase featuring 47 films by emerging black male directors from across the country. Continuing on Saturday, September 23rd and Sunday, September 24th. All events will be held at the Regal LA Live Cinemas, 1000 West Olympic Boulevard in downtown Los Angeles. For more information and tickets, visit bherc.org. That's bherc.org or call 323-957-4656. That's 323-957-4656. Don't miss your chance to celebrate excellence in black cinema all weekend long at the Real Black Men Short Film Showcase. See you there.
The Los Angeles Urban League helps African American and others in underserved communities achieve true social parity, economic self-reliance, and civil rights. For over 100 years, Los Angeles Urban League has ensured our communities have access to careers with living wages, opportunities to start and grow businesses, and clear pathways to personal and professional growth. Programs like BizCamp, Construction Career Academy, Bob Business Ready, and B-Warp. The Black Wealth Attainment and Retention Program are examples of the ongoing events designed to make our centennial mission to rebuild Black Wall Street right here in LA a reality. To sign up for our newsletter or to support the Los Angeles Urban League with your time, talent, and donations, visit laul.org. That's laul.org. The Los Angeles Urban League is a proud sponsor of Urban Family Focus, Saturdays at 7 a.m. on KBLA Talk 1580.
Sometimes we lose, sometimes we win. Sometimes we try to fit it all in. Sometimes we don't know what's in store. Sometimes we find what we're looking for. Sometimes we're rolling easy and free. Sometimes 1 and 1 makes 3. So much to love along this ride. That's why Nationwide is on your side.
Nationwide Mutual Insurance Company and Affiliates, Columbus, Ohio.
The possibility of lung cancer can be pretty scary, especially if you're one of approximately 8 million current or former smokers at high risk. That's why SaveByTheScan.org wants you to know that now there's a breakthrough low-dose CT scan that can detect lung cancer early, and it only takes 60 seconds. You stop smoking, now start screening. For an easy quiz to see if you're eligible, visit SaveByTheScan.org. It could save your life. SaveByTheScan.org is brought to you by the American Lung Association's Lung Force Initiative and the Ad Council.
Now back to more captivating conversation on RSVP with Jill Munroe.
You were locked into RSVP with Jill Munroe here on KBLA Talk 1580. Well, before we jump back into that topic that, obviously has a lot of the people going, right? We have to take a moment. September 13th is a very special day.
Yes.
It's a very special day here at KBLA. We have to say happy birthday to our founder, the one who sets the tone, sets the pace, has made this possible. Tavis Smiley.
Happy birthday, Tavis Smiley.
Happy birthday. I hope that you are having an amazing day. We are so appreciative of the home that you have set up here at KBLA Talk 1580 and the environment, the different subject matters, the different personalities that you've cultivated and procured together to give this special mix, and we are thankful. So I hope that you are taking time to enjoy your day, that you are doing something fun and special.
Oh, he's a Virgo, so he's probably somewhere relaxed and not even thinking about his birthday.
I mean that too. However you want to spend it, I hope that is amazing. And shout out to him. We appreciate him. Totally. And we did not want the evening to go by without shouting Tavis out. We appreciate you. Now, back to this topic of attractive. They're all mixed together at this point. Shannon in YouTube says, SAGs are fire signs. No filters, speak their minds, and could care less how you view them. SAGs are authentic. Somebody's always trying to put out our fire. Must be a water sign. Ooh, burn. Because you are what, Pisces, over there?
I am a water sign.
So
I don't try to put out their fires. What happens is they try to boil the water, and they end up getting doused from all the fire that you try to use to boil the water.
Okay.
And the pot gets turned over, and your fire gets blown out.
I'm an earth sign. I just absorb you all.
Sagittarius, the people, they love playing emotional, terroristic mind games with people. I had this one Sagittarius. It was just a really bad experience overall, and I will never, ever, not even friends. I have one Sagittarius friend. That's enough.
Really?
Yeah, and it's
all of that,
and it's distant. Long spoon, because I just don't have I don't have time for the game playing and the trickery that goes on with it. That's disguised as something else. Okay. And then after there's like in my case with the Sagittarius, there was this clear separation. We're not friends anymore, but the friend kept coming back, and I'm like, why do you clearly don't fool with me? Like, why are you bothering me? Like, what is up with this? Like,
magnetism.
You just get a kick out of bothering me and harassing me and giving me an Instagram like here and there, but you won't have a conversation with me. It's psychotic. Yes.
Urban Spencer says, tell him, Trent the Artist, SAGs, y'all are unstable. Jerry Anderson says, I am a Libra. You're all crazy.
Libras are the most crazy because they can't make a decision to save their life. So keep it to yourself, Jerry. And welcome to the show.
Balance. And we've seen Jerry here before. Welcome back, Jerry.
And I'm a Libra rising, so it's not hate, Jerry.
So let me say this, though. Who are the all that you were speaking of? Because I'm not a SAG. I'm a SAG moon. But I'm not a SAG. I am a Taurus. And like I said, I'm an earth sign, solid as they come.
Shannon just fired back at me. I will give you, I'm not sneaky. I will agree that I'm calculated.
Calculated, strategic. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, I will give you that.
Well, listen, do we have more commentary on the study, or are we just cool with saying that, if people deem themselves or someone deems others sometimes as, less than the ideal physical standard, they might try a little harder. But, it's not. Does it hurt if they want to, if they're a 5 and they say, no, I'm an 8? Who's that hurting?
It's not hurting nobody, but somebody's going to tell you the truth. But as long as you know the truth and you can sell that 5 into an 8, so be it. Do it. Because you might be able to sell it up to an 8.
Okay.
With wigs and makeup.
I know that's right, Andy.
And girdles. All kind of stuff.
If a 5, try to sell herself as an 8,
Mm-hmm.
I can't speak for all those, but we would consider.
And that's what I'm saying, because here's the thing. I think that, now granted, there's a difference with what you'll revisit on a dark, cold night, and maybe what you will proudly walk around with. There are differences, but sometimes that cold night 5 can slide into position. You know what I'm saying? I know it's hard, but I think too, men are so suspicious of makeup and weaves, but now you guys got some get back. There are man weaves, like the guys that can get their fades lined up, and you would never know. Do you know what I'm saying? So, and I think there's, you can tell, you can spot it.
Oh, I can spot it.
I don't, sometimes, but I don't know that I could spot a man weave. I don't know, with the waves or whatever, they look pretty good. I don't know if I've actually ever seen one close up, but those Instagram and Twitter videos that run around, they look pretty convincing to me. And I say, if that makes you happy, go and get your happy.
No one wants to be bald and looking crazy with alopecia patches like I did at one point. There's a fix for that. You don't have to shave off all your head. You can get you a wig cap.
There's many things that you can do. Urban Spencer says, yes, come back by the SAGs initially. They will act like they're your bestest friend, and as soon as you don't give them the level of attention they desire, here come the bull junk, as Dion says.
That is absolutely correct. That is yes, it's in their playbook.
It is.
Yeah,
okay.
It's in their playbook. As long as we know what we're dealing with.
Apparently a lot. They're gonna go gallop off and then make you contemplate and think about why they've disappeared.
Ain't nothing to contemplate. You crazy. And you want somebody to chase you. And I'm not doing that because clearly you can see from my size I haven't been running anywhere.
Stop it. All right, let me give you a quick rundown of some SAGs off top, right? Nicki Minaj, Richard Pryor, Britney Spears, Jay-Z.
Britney Spears.
Britney Spears is a SAG.
I can't take it, baby.
She is a SAG. Offset.
Now that makes so much sense.
Britney?
It makes all the sense in the world now. Wow, Britney Spears is a Sagittarius. Got it. Makes sense.
Shannon says, SAGs aren't attention seekers. The ones I know actually fly under the radar. I think that there's two sides.
That's actually kind of true.
Here's the thing. I think that there are evolved Sagittarius and unevolved Sagittarius. And maybe where you're at in your journey depends on which type of person you get.
But now we can strip that down to human nature because we all are evolved or unevolved at some point. So it's just human nature.
Yeah, I mean, it is. I mean, there is a lot of it. I think that currently, and this, we will get into this when we come forward, and of course, we're going to get into more about human nature. We're going to talk about Sierra and her response to co-parenting with Future. We are also going to get into what's going on with the writer's strike and these talk shows. We're going to talk a little bit about that. And OJ Simpson.
I love OJ.
He's a correspondent. We're going to get into some comments he made. All of that and more. You are locked into RSVP with Jill Munroe here on KBLA Talk 1580. News and sports is up next.
If it won't grow, you can fix your nose if you say so. You can buy all the makeup the Mac can make. But if you can look inside you, find out who am I to be in the position to make me feel so damn unpretty.
KBLA 1580 Santa Monica.
I'm Esther Dillard.